Dogs coming on a blitz. A nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
And it is caught by number 20, Malik Williams. And he breaks free. He's going. One man to beat. It's a touchdown.
I don't have a watch. There's a clock. Second straight Christmas. Edward Green running late. Thank God I'm the professional one of this relationship. Seriously. Are you for real?
Right.
Are you? You're not sick again.
No, I just overslept.
Professionalism.
Yeah.
Some of us have it. Nice pants.
Thank you. It's for the Mectacular. Do you
Yeah.
enjoy them?
Yeah.
It's meh.
They're a little meh.
They're a little meh. This whole thing is a little meh.
I'm just kicking it, dog.
Hey, we
This
are.
is as festive as I get with this shirt.
Eating shit.
Yeah. So this is kind of a special one, huh? I mean, we're on
Let
TV.
me look.
we're-
Actually, let me look at something real quick because I feel like this camera isn't.
Oh.
No, okay, it's still fine.
Okay. We'll just leave this in.
All right.
I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of a special one. We're
It is.
kind of dual casting.
Yeah. I wish we were live streaming this on Twitch, but we're not. This is welcome to episode 34 of the All New Sports Show, the podcast, as well for our audio-only viewers.
And you people watching at home on WHIG TV are probably going, "What are these idiots talking about?"
It's the great. We love the podcast.
It's the holiday
Meh.
spectacular. You remember it from last season where we had grand fun. We're back this year again. And the way we're doing this year, folks, if you have not been introduced yet to the All New Sports Show, the podcast, you're getting it on video today.
Yes.
But, I mean, you can definitely check us out on there. We'll tell you all about how to
To
do
be fair,
that.
we've never actually done a podcast in person together.
No,
This
we
is a little
haven't.
weird.
Yeah, we've always been on the Skype.
Yeah.
I've always been trying to throw stuff at the dog to keep it quiet, and
Yes.
hope my kids don't wake up in the middle of it.
Oy, yeah.
So good times, man. Good. Let's see.
You too.
Let's see. It's been a
Good,
while.
it's good to do this one, yeah.
It's good to do this live. So
Oh.
I guess since we're in podcast mode, brother, I'm gonna let you take over on this
All
bad
right.
boy.
So as always, joined by my colleague Wes Bradshaw, producer Des, actually joined by one name, technical director Lee
That's
Dene.
right, because we got to do the
A
TV.
cavalcade of stars.
It's the TV.
So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you want to get up with us and tell us about how crazy this is, as always, there's a myriad of ways to get up with us. I got to remember to look at the camera now on the podcast. You can do Twitter at All New Sports Show, at Edward Green, at Wes Bradshaw 21. You can get us on Facebook, facebook.com/All New Sports Show. You can get us Instagram.com/All New Sports Show, YouTube.com/The All New Sports Show. Email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Mail your letters and parcels to 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina 27804. If you want to listen to the podcast, if you're watching this on TV, and you,
And
wanna listen-
they have a podcast?
Yes, we do.
Why have I not heard about this? Because you haven't been listening to us. But anyway.
you haven't seen the graphic on the bottom of the screen. Podbean.com, iTunes Music Store, or Stitcher Radio. There's also a feed on our Facebook page you can use to use your own podcast player, like Podcast Republic.
I'm a Podcast Republic guy.
You love the Podcast Republic.
Because I don't do Apple.
Yes, you do.
I don't do Apple.
I mean, that's what I meant. Yes, you do not do
I
Apple.
do not do Apple. Yeah,
Yes.
that works. Okay. And of course, for you TV viewers at home, the All New Sports Show brought each and every week by Roger G.
Yes.
Taylor and Associates. And also, of course, at the bottom of the screen,
Yeah.
you'll see our
yeah.
you'll see our sponsors down there.
If
So.
you're listening to this podcast, just ignore those last 5 seconds.
Or, folks, if you're in Bosnia and Herzegovina, where
Yes.
apparently we have a large following,
Yes.
and you need some, financial information or some
You love a
financial help
speech.
information, call Roger G. Taylor and Associates.
I feel like
Why not?
we are the reason
Want a
that,
sun drop? You want a Pepsi?
that Bosnia and Herzegovina have taken a sharp downturn. They qualify for the World Cup. Spirits are high. We start talking about them. They flame out of the World Cup. They've been bad in Euros.
I believe I've gotten into Njeko's head.
Yeah, I
That's the
wish.
problem. I'm into Njeko's head. So that's what I do. It's who I roll.
Hey, Jacko.
Ah, man. So what are we gonna talk about this weekend? I didn't get my rundown.
You didn't get a rundown. No.
Thanks a lot.
We're going to be free flowing this time.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how we normally do it. Usually, as the unmentioned subtitle of our podcast is, 1 hour of soccer, 1 hour of everything else.
But we're going to condense that into
We're not
going to
do an hour.
We're going to give you an hour.
Mainly because we're pre-doing this.
That's right.
So we don't have all the goodness.
My family's back from the Bahamas,
Yes.
presumably alive.
Yes.
If you see this and I'm not alive at the time that you
This is
do
going to be
this,
very awkward.
this is going to be a little awkward because
Yeah.
I'll be dead somewhere in the Caribbean. But hey, I'm thinking positively and back from the Bahamas. So glad to be with you folks here at Christmas. Hopefully,
Yeah. But as you mentioned last time, better one day in the Bahamas, any kind of day in the Bahamas, than a day in Detroit.
oh Detroit, who would want to go there? Better die in the Bahamas than live in Detroit.
Our last podcast did really well.
Bingo, bango.
Of course, actually, I shouldn't say our last podcast. Our episode 32 did really well. Episode 33 was actually the interview I did with my mom.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that yet.
GFOS and Jose Mourinho impersonator Susie Green joined us on the pod this past weekend. So I hope you guys were able to catch that out. She talked about what it's like to cheer for the Selecao. And there's a lot of tears involved.
It's really hard when your horrible kill everyone years and in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I'm an England fan. Hi. Hope is dead on the island in the Empire.
We're talking about the World Cup from this year, which was basically our biggest event of the year.
That was man, we had a big time.
It's why we started the podcast, basically.
It really is. We want to start talking about some soccer, which you folks, of course, at home on the All New Sports Show get a full minute of every week on the All New Sports Show in our aptly titled 60 Seconds of Soccer. We hope you enjoy that. We'll give you a little more today.
Yeah.
Of course, at the time we're taping this, we don't really have anything new to tell you from the last podcast.
Yeah.
So, not really a lot new going on. But this is kind of our ode to 2014. We're going to give you a little bit of everything today. And as you said, Ed, the World Cup was a big reason we did start this podcast. And now it's just become this international phenomenon. Once again, thank you, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And, we talk about our footy every week. I, of course, for you folks at home watching, I am a Liverpool fan.
Yes, you
I am
are.
an England fan. I might as well shoot myself this year. But whatever. I love being depressed.
You're doing good in the Euros.
Did I mention I've been a Red Sox fan my whole life, too?
that's true.
Well, up until the last 10 years was, I needed that loathing and self-hate in my life. That's
true.
Yeah,
But you guys are doing good. I am a Tottenham Hotspur fan, noted for having Clint Dempsey, Brad Friedel, Casey Keller. So a lot of Americans.
And a bunch of fifth-place finishes.
Shush. First team in England to do the double. Don't ever forget that. Yeah.
The double Dutch.
Shush.
Whatever.
We're doing good. If you haven't yet gotten into the Barclays Premier League, you really should. It's on.
invite you.
It's on everything now. Everybody's talking about it. You watch
That's right.
ESPN.
Get
No
with
matter
it
what
with us.
sport you're
Come
watching,
with us.
it's on the bottom line now.
That's right.
They're putting up those European scores.
There you go.
So pick a team. Don't pick. Who should we say? Don't pick United,
Chelsea
and
or City or Arsenal. Just
We
'cause
don't.
hate
We don't
Arsenal.
want you to. The first three are because they're front runners.
Yeah, those are total that's pulling for the Yankees.
Yeah, you put or
Or the
I was gonna say the
or
Cowboys.
it's
Patriots.
kind of like it's like pulling for whoever LeBron plays for.
Yes.
Don't do that.
No,
don't do
don't do
that.
that.
Be cool. Find you a cool team to pull for. Arsenal. Neither of us like Arsenal
No.
at all, but I mean they're Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's
We'd
what it is. We just don't
understand
like
if
them.
you did.
Exactly.
We won't like it, but
No.
that's much more acceptable than either City, who are. What did you say last 2 podcasts ago? Nouveau Riche.
Nouveau Riche.
Nouveau Riche, Young Money.
Yes, I didn't pull that out. did
And
I?
United, they're just. And then Chelsea.
United, they are the straight-up New York Yankees of football.
Yeah.
Have been for 20-plus years. And Chelsea is run by a Russian oligarch who
Roman Abramovich.
may or may not be wanted on international crimes.
May. I'm gonna go with May.
We're going to go with May.
But
Well,
yeah,
May's
so
a
pick
cool
a team. Who would we say? Everton. Everton's an okay choice if you like the self-loathing.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Tim Howard. Everybody
That's
knows
true.
who Tim Howard is after
True.
the summer. If you want to pull for Tim Howard, you can pull for Tim Howard. Liverpool has kind of become the darlings of the United States, mainly because they've gotten some U.S. coverage. Because their owner is John Henry, who owns the Boston Red Sox. It just kind of all worked out for me. By the way, I was a Liverpool fan before John
Yes.
Henry bought
Yes, you were.
Liverpool, so that just worked out well for me.
Of course, we went there to Charlotte this summer.
That's right.
Covered the Guinness Cup when they played AC
Milan.
Milan, yes. I always
Milan.
confuse them and Roma. We saw them play AC Milan. Mario Balotelli's last game, I believe, for Milan.
Great.
Before coming on over to Liverpool. What an audition he had.
Yeah, he stunk then and he stinks now. Don't think he made any good anti-Semitic slurs at that point, though.
Great. It was a great time, though.
Absolutely.
Great time being in Charlotte.
We've
I believe
had
that
a
was
great-
over 60,000 people that game.
We've had a great time just being fans of the game. It's been a great time over this. 2014, I believe, has become the year of soccer in the United States.
Yes.
The World Cup has had the highest rating numbers it's ever had. The United States men's national team, which I do not like, by the way.
No.
I'm not a United States men's national
He's
team.
an expat.
I'm an expat. I'm such wish that I lived on the empire. It wasn't funny. But the U.S. men's national team, they were fun. They were exciting. They got the knockout round that brought eyes on to the sport.
Yes.
This is the year. We've been predicting it since 1972
72.
that soccer would be the future
Yep.
of the United States, and I believe it has made its way in. We'll have to see where it goes from here. But hey, folks, definitely enjoy it. Enjoy it. Here's the pitch I give you. It's the pitch I gave my wife. She still tells me to shut up, leave her alone, and don't let me watch soccer. But here's the deal, folks. It's on Saturday and Sunday morning. It's not going to interfere with your college football, with your NFL. It's not going to interfere with your college basketball games. It's not going to interfere with anything. Here's the best thing. This is something Colin Cowherd pointed out years ago. You know how long it's going to be? It's 2 hours.
About 2 hours, yeah.
You give 2 hours up, and you're done. There's no overtime. Until you get into knockout stages of different competitions. But on Saturday morning, if you want to watch a Barclays Premier League game, if it starts at 10 o'clock, by noon, you're walking out the house to go do whatever you want to do for the rest of the day. It's a great sport. I always enjoyed it because it's a college football-like
Oh,
atmosphere.
the crowds are amazing.
Absolutely.
They're fantastic.
Absolutely. The great crowds. And then, of course, we're going to cross-promote real quick because we don't usually do this, but there are these gentlemen named the Men in Blazers.
The Men in Blazers.
The Men in Blazers, there is a show 10 o'clock on Monday nights. I'm not going to tell you what channel just because since I'm on TV, I can't tell you. Can't cross-promote. But if you
can watch online.
Exactly. You can watch online
Yes.
or DVR it, maybe watch it back sometime when there's a replay of the all-new sports show on.
Yes.
Just
watch
rewatch that. They're fantastic. A 30-minute show each and every week highlighting the best.
Not each and every week.
Yeah, every Monday.
Most Mondays.
Well, most Mondays.
When there's an international break, they're not on.
Yeah, well, nobody's
there's
on
nothing to talk about.
Nothing's on during the international break. But those catch them on Mondays. They are fantastic. They have a great podcast as well.
I think once you start dipping your toes in, if you want to go to the Barclays Premier League, also nothing wrong with picking an MLS team. If you want to start slow, there's also the Cary Railhawks of NASL. They have a very storied tradition, a very good program. They've beaten some MLS clubs.
That's right.
So they're very, very good. If you want to start there, also a good atmosphere. It's a tightly knit community over there in Cary, which Taylor Twellman was a couple weeks ago for the College Cup. Love Taylor Twellman.
That's right.
But once
what's also cool is there are so many world superstars. If you want to pick if you want to pick a superstar, some of our personal favorites, obviously the magisterial Steven Gerrard.
What? I thought you were going to go with the actual magisterial.
No, I obviously go with Steven Gerrard over
Steven
everyone. There's Lionel Messi, which everyone's heard of. There's Edward's most hated player, but the most gorgeous man in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo. My wife just typed up divorce papers as I said that. There's Ed and I's personal dual favorite player in the world, the man who wears the patch of Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, Zlatan
Ibrahimovic, who may
Swede.
or may not be the future Cardinal of New York. I cannot guarantee that. I can't deny that. The man is amazing. He may not even be Catholic, but they might make him anyway.
Pope.
He's just wonderful. He's a beautiful. He's a fantastic. He's a Swede.
And I don't believe he's ever played in a World Cup.
Yeah, he has. Just they did not make it this past year.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he has been there before. Now, you want to talk about guys who have not made it in the World Cup? You talk about Gareth Bale, former talisman for Tottenham.
Yep.
Now, probably the future of Real Madrid, the most storied club in the world. So there's so many things out there for you to go and enjoy.
You didn't want to talk about one of the biggest storylines of the summer?
Of course I do. Go for it.
You one of your ex-favorite players, because he was so good at Liverpool. You got to talk about it. Taking a bite out of crime, Luis Suarez.
My man Suarez, folks, maybe he enjoys the taste of human flesh. Is this such a problem when you score 30 goals in the Premier League? Oh, okay, it is. Well,
Yeah.
if you say so. It's
called human rights abuse.
Well, the only problem I have with Suarez is that he left and went to Barcelona.
Yeah.
And left us with a gaping hole up front where no one can score for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Daniel Sturridge has legs that don't like to agree with him playing.
But follow other players. Then you get to know their teams a little bit. You don't have to just follow
right.
England. The Spanish Premier League is very, very good. You have those teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona, even Atletico
that's
Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia, some other good programs there. Also, you have the German Bundesliga. Not as deep, but very good at the top.
That's known as Bayern Munich and the 19 Dwarves.
Which is very odd because right now, the last place team over in Germany is one of the best teams.
They're out of last. I think they're actually out of
Are they now?
relegation at the moment.
Okay.
But they are still very crappy this year
Yes.
in Germany. Borussia Dortmund.
The yellow wall. You talk about great crowds. The yellow wall,
Buddy.
famous, right behind the goal
Buddy.
there. Oh, it's
it is on par with the Cameron Crazies.
yes.
That's kind of your that's what you compare it to. They are the Cameron Crazies of German soccer. They are insane. It's loud. They're awesome. Great stuff.
And of
folks.
course,
that's what you check out, man.
you had the World Cup this year.
That's right.
It only comes around every 4 years, except we will have the Women's World Cup next year, or as the Men in Blazers like to call it, the World Cup and the Men's World Cup.
There you go. Of course, the real World Cup.
but if you
we love you, Alex Morgan. Please come on our show. Just a picture.
If you like
here
the
with the Ravens.
tournaments and miss the World Cup every year, there's the Champions League, and you really don't have to start truly paying attention until about right now.
Exactly when Liverpool's eliminated.
Yes, the knockout stage.
Then is the time to start paying attention
Yes.
when Liverpool's eliminated.
Absolutely.
Basically, it breaks down. You have group stages, 4 teams in each group. I believe 8 groups. 8 groups, 4 teams. Top 2 move on to the knockout round.
All the best
where
teams
it is,
from around Europe.
Exactly, where it's home and home, and you come off base of the results on that. You progress onward.
The finals are usually late May, early June. This year, I believe they will be in Berlin.
This is right, Berlin.
And of course, the redhead stepchild of the Champions League, Europa League, that will be, I believe,
What are
in
you talking
Warsaw.
about? That's the biggest one of them all this year. That's right. The Germans get the get the Champions League. Poland gets Europa.
Yes, that's okay.
That's just how
Poland
it
beat
goes.
Germany this year in Euro qualifying.
We're
all I care about.
we're of course guessing that we'll be seeing each other in Poland.
Yeah,
That's right. Liverpool, Tottenham, and I'll be there. Sure.
it would be awesome.
We cannot guarantee
So
that.
I think, soccer got a bad rap in this country for a long, long time.
Well, it was
taken-
crap for a long time, so there's nothing,
And it's still, the MLS product isn't still as good as those other foreign leagues,
Correct.
a lot of the ones we've mentioned. It's starting to get on par. Maybe in a few years, if the money keeps going down, maybe it'll be better than Serie A.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe now Fernando Torres will just come to America to steal money and suck.
Was it Ashley Cole that went over to Italy this year?
Yeah,
from
he's
Chelsea?
at,
because he wasn't ready to come to the MLS beaches.
No, he didn't want to come to the beaches yet, so he went to, I believe he went to Roma.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
You're in Europa.
Yeah.
You're in Europa. Cool.
Of course, we love the Barclays Premier League also for the amount of narrative it provides us. For so early this season, just to catch you up, if you haven't been paying attention, the early Premier League narrative was it's Chelsea running away from everyone, and then everybody else in one big, gigantic 19-team mid-table of the 20 teams in the Barclays
Mid-table
Premier
/
League.
relegation zone.
Yes. But now, all of a sudden, we have a title race, Wes.
That's right, because Chelsea decided they were going to give one measly game back to the people.
Yep.
Manchester City, those lovable scamps who have only put about £1 billion into their team in the last
Financial fair
3-4
play.
years.
Who cares?
Yeah, forget that. They have been solid, if unspectacular, and they are climbing their way back into it. So, folks, it does look like we're going to have a title race. The rise of the ashes of those lovable losers over the years, Manchester United, whose fans have never had anything to celebrate.
No,
Yeah,
they're back.
They're back. Great. The fall from grace that is known as Liverpool 20.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You lost your
2014.
talisman.
and his trusty sidekick Robin, aka Daniel Sturridge, and Stevie G lost his legs, and we lost our confidence.
Of course, Southampton got raided by
Lost
both
it all.
Liverpool this year in terms of players, Spurs this year in terms of head coach, and somehow Southampton still right now top of the table.
Above both of them.
Yes, exactly, and that's all they're shooting for over at St. Mary's, trying to get in that top 8. So just, folks, there's a lot of narrative.
Very much.
Pick a team, just dive in. It can be very daunting at first. I remember when I started thinking of, well, what is this FA Cup? What is this Capital One Cup? What is Europa? I don't understand anymore.
What do you mean? My team was in the Premier League last year. Now they're not?
Sorry,
What?
Fulham fans.
Yeah, sorry, you Craven Cottage Fulham fans with a giant Michael Jackson statue. But yeah, those jump in. Once again, it's one of those things. It's kind of like the NFL.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're going to play once a week. Yes, you do have some weeks you'll play twice, and you do have the side tournaments, but it's not an everyday thing. It's not like baseball where you have to keep up with it to know what's going on.
No.
It's not like basketball where they're playing 3 times a week. It's more like football. They play once a week. You can just about guarantee, you do get your international breaks, which are the worst. But anyway.
Oh, we should talk about it a little bit. There's been news coming out since this is the podcast. We do talk about news a little bit, current events. There has been talk about the Premier League having some Friday night matches coming up.
I don't
I like
love
it.
that.
I like it.
I don't like it.
I like
I
it.
don't like it. I'm not big on that. Friday nights for high school football.
Well, thankfully for us, it won't happen during high school football.
I
We'll get Friday night football around 3 o'clock, and then we go to our high school football game.
I can't watch that. I work. I already have Monday night
It's
football.
called a cell phone.
It's not like I really work anyway. But
Exactly.
still. And that's something we'll definitely have to keep our eyes and ears.
But it's a lot of. So you don't seem like you like it though.
No, I don't like change. I'm not a progressive person, man.
You're so conservative.
I've been wearing this shirt for 3 weeks.
Yes, you have. Since
on
our
the-
last all new sports show, the show.
Well, actually, I changed that, but anyway.
Exactly. You've been wearing it since our last all new sports
Oh,
show,
very
the
good
show.
point. Totally.
Um,
Sure.
But a lot of fun. So you guys, we're not gonna, we're I think gonna wind down our soccer talk for tonight.
We don't overburden you folks.
No, we really don't. For the
who are sitting here like, man, I really like this. This is a good idea. Now, will they shut up about it and get to something else?
For our loyal listeners of the pod, you can join us again next week. We'll be talking a lot more. We'll be back plausibly live. We'll be bringing in the new year. Wes, we'll be bringing in the new year.
That's
on the
right. That's right. We do not care. We are much more interested in entertaining you,
Yes.
our loyal podcast listeners,
Yes.
than going out and reveling and having merriment and ringing in the new year. That, and my wife will be at work and my kids will be asleep. so
Maybe
I'm
maybe
really
there'll
where
be
am I
some
gonna go?
champagne drunk. Maybe there'll be some champagne.
I might even crack open a nice Sierra Nevada Torpedo IPA.
There you go. Who says we can't drink and do a podcast?
Don't we always? This is the first time I've ever worn a shirt and done the podcast.
That's why we stopped doing video podcasts after episode 1.
That's right. Ed was a little terrified after
A
episode
little
1.
scary. All right, so
All right,
Wes,
where are we going to go next?
You want to talk about the college football bowl season? We can run down.
Sure.
I got to pull up the list here. But why don't you talk? We talked a little bit a couple pods ago about our most exciting bowl games. We'll just run down the list here and maybe do some picks. Let's see. I got the schedule up right here.
Of course, for me, my most exciting, this is non-BCS playoff, or BCS, not BCS anymore.
No, not anymore.
Non-college football playoff bowl. For me, of course, is the Birmingham Bowl. Everyone's
Yes.
like, Birmingham Bowl, are you serious? That's right, folks. East Carolina, my team, my Pirates,
Oy.
get to take on the evil empire known as the Florida Gators. And you know what, folks? You know what we're going to do? We're going to beat them on January the 3rd. And then we're going to turn around. We're going to start the season with them next year. And we're going to beat them again because that's how we roll, folks.
I don't know if you're actually starting the season with Florida.
Yeah, we do. We kick off the season in the Swamp.
I think it's actually the second week.
I was told we kick off the season
I
in the
believe
Swamp.
because when I looked at the schedule, I think it's actually the 12th.
It would have been nice if you told me this before I went on this rant.
Don't let the truth. Don't fact check the podcast, Wes.
That's a very good
Don't
point.
fact check it. Fact
Very
check
good point. This is the podcast. We don't fact check on the podcast.
No, not at all.
So I've been told we open the season in the Swamp next year. That's from an East Carolina.
Well, here's the thing. The last time I looked at the schedule, there wasn't a game schedule before it. It was just like an open slot.
There you go.
So right now, yes, you are opening. I
Open
just
week,
assume.
baby. We're just taking our bye week in week 1. Go Pirates.
Maybe you are. Hey, didn't
Go
Cincinnati not
Pirates.
start this season until like midway through
It
October?
was somebody like that. It seemed like it. I don't think Carolina started their actual season until about midway through October.
That's a common occurrence, though.
Yeah, that's a common occurrence. They play games. They just didn't
It's a
actually
yearly
start their
tradition.
season. Oh, man. Other than that, of course, you've got the playoff games in the, I believe it's the Sugar Bowl
Yep, Sugar and
on
Rose.
New Year's Day. Sugar Bowl, Alabama, the number 1 team in the college football playoff. They take on the number 4 team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Producer Des, once again, they snuck in. They snuck in.
We'll
Big
talk about
12.
those. We'll talk about those. We'll preview those.
Well, and then, of course, the Rose Bowl, which
The
was
Oregon,
Oregon
Florida
and Florida State. As you say, Florida State, the most undeserving team ever to make it, other than maybe
Most
Ohio State,
undeserving, undefeated team ever.
defending national champion of the nation's longest winning streak.
All right, let's start in order. You get a big first day. 5 games on Saturday, December 20th, which is of course
by this time
yesterday.
is already over.
So hopefully you enjoyed the RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
Always do.
Nevada versus UL Lafayette.
Sure,
Utah
Lafayette
State
got that
versus
big win,
UTEP in the Golden New Mexico Bowl.
UTEPers.
The Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl.
So purple.
Whatever
Las
Royal
Vegas.
Purple is. Utah versus Colorado State.
Definitely taking the Utes there. I'm glad I did when they got the win.
Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Western Michigan versus Air Force.
Delicious, go Air Force.
And South Alabama versus Bowling Green. And the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl.
Maction Bowling Green with the win.
Wow. All right, so then
Anything today?
let's no, not today for the show. And of
Right.
course, if you're listening to this on the podcast,
Right.
we're going to talk about some games that have already been played.
Sure we are.
So, but we're going to start now for
we
you
are.
guys on the show.
That's right. You folks on the show.
No, nothing on Sunday. Nothing
on
today.
Sunday. Oh, nothing today.
So
Thank goodness. I
tomorrow,
didn't miss anything today.
let's start in the Miami Beach Bowl, which I believe was the other game East Carolina could have actually gone to.
Right.
BYU versus Memphis down in Miami. They're doing it at Marlins Park. That turquoise aquamarine disaster.
Because you go to Miami in January, you want to do nothing than be inside.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock start. BYU, of course, early season, they were good. Lost their quarterback, got hurt. Memphis somehow tied for the
AAC?
American Conference title. The
So I felt after watching. He's going.
Yeah. You're not over that UCF game, are you?
God no, I'm taking Memphis. Memphis has been a breath of fresh air this year. Their coach named the Coach of the Year. They have players all over the all-conference team. That's a good football team in Memphis. I'm taking the Tigers.
Yeah, you can't give it to George O'Leary every year, I guess. BYU, I think they're just a little too banged up. I'm going to go with Memphis, too.
All right.
I think Memphis produces for the AAC. Let's go on Tuesday at 6, the Boca Raton Bowl, staying in Florida.
Oh, my grandmother would have loved the Boca Bowl.
Oh, boy. Offending everyone tonight.
In between shuffleboard.
A battle of champions, Coosa champ Marshall versus Maction champ Northern Illinois.
Marshall?
Marshall.
He said Marshall.
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 Marseille.
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 Back to soccer. No, I'm just kidding.
Marshall versus Northern Illinois. I'm gonna take Maction. I'm gonna take Northern Illinois. Didn't like how Marshall ended the season.
I'm going to take Marshall because I think they're going to come back with a chip on their shoulder. Their quarterback is fantastic. Kid can play. Defense just needs to slow down Northern Illinois a couple of times. Marshall offense will win that football game. High scoring affair. It'll look like a basketball score when it's over.
Fun. Well, what was it when they were playing the game Marshall lost?
Yeah.
And I showed you a picture of the score. It was like 45-38 at the half.
Yeah, I think it ended up being 68-66 or something
in
like
one
that.
overtime.
One overtime. That's it. Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Just the tip. Also on Tuesday in San Diego. By the way, speaking of San Diego, Anchorman 2 is now out on Netflix.
I know. I have it saved so I can
too.
watch it on my trip.
I know.
Hopefully,
I almost watched it this past week. The trip that's already happened.
Of course, I am alive.
The San Diego County CU Poinsettia Bowl, a venerable bowl.
San Diego Bowl's always a good bowl.
This is going to be Navy versus San Diego State. So San Diego getting a home game over at Qualcomm Stadium.
I'm taking Navy. Very difficult offense to prepare to play against. I take Navy to go to San Diego where they're going to be fired up because they're getting the heck out of Maryland where it's cold, and they're going to San Diego where it's warm. San Diego kids are going to be like, okay, I mean, we do this all the time. I am going to take Navy for the dub. Maybe the surprising.
I'm going to take San Diego State for the home team advantage.
You know, Ed, San Diego.
Don't. Even though this is a podcast.
Discovered by the Germans.
Yes.
That's all we'll say. Discovered by the Germans.
Yes.
That's right, folks. Here's one thing about this is the podcast, but I'm on TV. I can't curse.
You can't.
What the? You heard me, Mr. Raven.
Ralph.
Okay, Ralph
the
heard me.
Raven.
Continue.
All right. Now, so this is stuff that is
over.
actually now in the future.
Oh, all right. So these are real. Okay, cool. Awesome.
The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl Stadium.
It's in the heart of Dallas reside in Jerry Jones' cryogenically frozen body.
Probably. Illinois
Jerry
versus Louisiana Tech.
I'll take Louisiana Tech. Skip Holtz, I hate the Big Ten.
Oh, of course, hate the Big Ten. I'll take Louisiana Tech too.
Cool.
Good team. Good team.
Righteous, dude.
Talking about Detroit in the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit at Ford Field. At least it's in a dome. 4:30. Rutgers
That's where you could have been, Central Michigan.
versus North Carolina.
God, Carolina
What a
ended up there.
fantastic football
I
game.
totally forgot Carolina ended up there.
Yep.
I think Carolina would have rather gone to the Bahamas. I'll take the Tar Heels. Once again, Rutgers. I saw too much of Rutgers this year just get absolutely blown out by all but the crappiest of teams. And they found 6 teams crappy enough to get to a bowl game
Yep.
with.
How does that move to the Big Ten? Working for Rutgers.
Well, I'll take the Tar Heels.
I'll take Carolina too. Just because.
Proud alumni.
Very proud alumni.
Proud alumni.
Yep.
Did you ever write a paper for anybody?
Yeah, actually I did. In fact, I actually have some on here. If anybody would like to purchase a paper.
Ed, put that down. Those Tar Heel players might be watching.
No ideas. Visual jokes also work very well on the podcast.
Oh, they'll love that.
I can't
Ed
wait
is-
till we exchange gifts on the podcast.
Oh, this is going to be magical. We'll have to be very descriptive.
Oh, aren't we always? The Bitcoin St. Petersburg Bowl.
See, you know about this Bitcoin thing. I don't know what's
You don't know what Bitcoin
I don't
is?
know about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is a unit of currency on the internet that has no physical form.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It is kind of dumb.
Okay. And they have a bowl game. Fantastic.
You can buy a car in Bitcoin in California. I think you
Nothing,
can actually pay for Teslas in Bitcoin.
nothing out of California surprises me anymore.
It's true. Another great ACC team, NC State versus Central Florida.
Oh, Central Florida all day.
Yeah, I think Central Florida too.
Central Florida, even though I do think the Wolfpack going to put on a good performance, I think it's a good football game.
Relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking. Well, I mean, as in, you know, when most people turn on these bowl games, it's the fourth quarter, and you're like, is anything close? Is it worth me watching football? I think it will be worth watching the fourth quarter of that game.
Okay.
Central Florida wins in the end.
Military Bowl, Cincinnati versus Virginia Tech over in Annapolis.
I will take Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a solid squad. Gunnar Kiel, one of the better quarterbacks in the country. And just Virginia Tech is so good at Virginia Teching.
Yeah, they've been very bad this year. They really shouldn't be even in the bowl.
I can't really figure out how they made it to a bowl. I guess
They
they
beat
won
Virginia
6.
somehow at the end of the season.
Of course, Miami lost Virginia. Go Canes.
I'll take Cincinnati too because I don't trust Virginia Tech as far as I can throw them, or they can throw football. Hyundai Sun Bowl, El Paso, Texas, this Saturday at 2 p.m. Arizona State out of the Pac-10 will be taking on Duke out of the ACC.
Doesn't that just seem like it should be a warm thing? The Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. And every time you look at it, they're like, oh, it's like 13 degrees today, and the wind's blowing like 40 miles an hour.
Why
every
isn't that
time.
game? Why isn't that game in Arizona? Why isn't the Sun Bowl in Arizona?
I think the Sun Bowl is a traditional, very long-standing game in El Paso that they've played for decades, I believe.
So
I'm just saying.
So?
They've always been the Sun Bowl. Well, one thing, the sun is always out there. It's just extremely bitterly cold.
you say so.
That's a tough one. That's really one of the first ones we've gotten to. Well, I think it's 2 good teams, and it's just going to depend on who comes in motivated to do what they want to do.
I think if Arizona State comes in motivated, I think they're going to blow them out.
I think Arizona State is the better football team
Yeah.
on paper. But, you know, David Cutcliffe has a great way of making chicken salad out of chicken. No, I got to scratch
podcast.
real quick. But anyway,
Yeah.
you know, he does a great job with that. If Arizona State comes ready to play, Arizona State will win. If they're not ready to play, Duke will beat them. So I would take Sun Devils.
Also, the only bowl game on CBS this year.
That's sad. I like CBS's college football coverage.
It's really good. It's better than Fox's.
Is that all we get is Vern Lundquist?
God, do you remember when Fox was doing BCS bowl games?
Oh, they were bad. Thanks, Joe.
Here's a shot of the band.
you just missed a 60-yard touchdown run. Our bad.
You remember when in the 2013 World Series when Fox missed the final out of a World Series game because they were on a crowd shot?
And here's the cast from the OC Season 3.
And Colton Watson picked off first base, game over.
we
Oh,
love
okay.
There's a season. Thanks, Fox.
Yep. Duck Commander Independence Bowl. Not Dance Commander, Duck Commander. I know you obviously have excitement to this game.
Who does?
Miami, Florida.
No. Who's excited about this game?
You are.
That's right. You. The U.
We'll be taking on South Carolina.
We hope everyone enjoyed the U Part 2, 30 for 30, because it was obviously magisterial and fantastic. Obviously the greatest college football team ever assembled, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
Maybe.
This is the game that restarts the dynasty. The golden age is upon us. Hurricanes win. Okay, I can't even lie about that. Never mind. South Carolina wins.
No, I think Miami's going to win this game.
That's great. I'm glad you still
I think
believe.
they're going to. I don't believe. I think they're better. I think South Carolina.
Have you watched Miami?
I watched them when they almost beat Florida State.
Yeah, almost. And since then, we've lost to Virginia.
True. That's true.
We've lost to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Let's go to the Bronx for the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, sponsored by Hova. Saturday, December 27th, 4:30 p.m. Boston College versus Penn State. Two northern teams meeting up in a northern location. Penn State started the year 4-0 and out of conference, and I think we ended up 2-6 the rest of the way.
Oh,
Boston
God.
College almost beat Florida State too.
The Bronx at 4:30 in the afternoon is starting. That means when you're done with that brutally cold game, you have to walk through the Bronx at night.
I'm sure they have a bus.
I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about the
Okay.
poor fans.
Oh, okay.
Have fun with that one, folks. The big number is going to be, will the score be higher on the field between the two teams or the body count outside of Yankee Stadium?
So wrong.
Oh, that's terrible. I'll take Penn State
I'll take Boston College.
because the stink of Paterno is starting to wear away.
Yes. Let's go to the National University Holiday Bowl. Nebraska versus USC. Nebraska with a new head coach for this game. This will be also taking place in San Diego.
Poor Pelini.
Yeah.
I already miss Faux Pelini on Twitter.
Aw.
The cat.
Remember, you go 8-3 every year. It's not good enough in Nebraska.
Not Nebraska, no, because they expect to win. I'm going to take USC. I think USC is, I don't know if I'm ready to call the dynasty coming back at USC.
It's close.
But that is,
They're starting to get scholarships back.
they are getting close. Once they start getting players over there, I think Sark is the coach for them. This could be kind of one of those remember when, because this was a building block big time for USC.
Would you imagine that there are actually a few grumblings this year about Sark?
Well, yeah, because it's USC. And 90% of USC fans know nothing about football.
Yeah.
Other than, oh, we won. Of course we did. We're USC. Let's go drink.
Let's go to Monday for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Memphis, Tennessee. This will be Texas A&M versus West Virginia. I think this could be a fun game. I'm going to actually take West Virginia.
Big 12 team in West Virginia, taking on former Big 12 team, now SEC team in Texas A&M. I'm taking Texas A&M. Kyle Allen is on his way to being a Heisman contender.
You love the SEC. though.
And I love Kyle Allen.
Yes, you do.
Dude, I love
A little
Kyle
too much.
Allen.
Also on Monday, the Russell Athletic Bowl over down in Orlando, Florida in the Citrus Bowl. Clemson versus Oklahoma in a game between who can actually Clemson harder.
Wow. They got this one. They just nailed this one straight on. As you said, who can blow this the worst? I just wonder if our old friend Justin Height's going to make his way to that ball game.
Maybe.
Probably a good chance for that. So
Let's
he'll
text
get to give us a first-hand Clemsoning. I'm going to take the innovators of Clemsoning. I'm going to take the Clemson Tigers.
I'm going to take Clemson too. Oklahoma just gacked that game away against Oklahoma State.
Well, Clemson gacks away most of their games.
That's true. Let's go to the Advocare Texas Bowl down in Houston, Texas in the NRG Stadium. That is Arkansas versus Texas. Arkansas, which might have won any other conference in America, finishes in dead last in the SEC West, also known as
the Hunger Games of college football.
Yep. So Arkansas versus Texas.
They're going to lay it on Texas. Arkansas, get ready, folks. 2015, going to be the year of the Razorback out west. They are loaded.
Yeah.
One of the best running teams in the country.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Charlie Strong's message keeps getting through in Texas.
I think they'll be fine eventually in Texas. They're just not ready this year.
Yeah. Let's go to the Franklin American Mortician. It just says M-O-R-T period. So we're going to say Mortician because we don't fact check the podcast. Music City Bowl in Nashville, Tennessee at LP Field.
So a mortician is sponsoring the Music City. Okay, I can live with that.
I don't know. We'll look up maybe.
We
No,
don't
we
have
won't.
no problem with that. No, we don't.
Notre Dame versus LSU.
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 All day-
LSU.
all day, every day.
All day, every day, a billion times on Sunday.
Yep.
LSU, the Forsett. Leonard Fournette. I'm sorry. They're fantastic.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a
freshman.
Heisman Trophy candidate this year.
Well, you watch. He will be coming up. Interesting article I read today about LSU. Really quick about today. I mean,
A couple weeks
whenever,
ago.
whenever we're doing this, kind of a thinking of Braxton Miller at Ohio State is set to come back next year. JT Barrett's the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Ruh-roh.
If you're a Braxton Miller, you may be thinking about transferring because that he would fall under that 1 year graduate transfer, immediately be eligible. Where would you go that immediately could use an athletic quarterback? LSU. Getting Braxton Miller and having Leonard Fournette and having those nasty wide receivers and just being LSU in general? Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
That means I've just told you Arkansas is
I
going
know,
to be
I was
good.
just about to say, I was
LSU is
just
going to be
about to
good.
Yes.
Don't forget about Alabama.
And Auburn.
Don't forget about Auburn, who just hired Muschamp
Yes.
as a defensive coordinator. Don't forget about Ole Miss, who was a young team this year.
Forget
Oh
about
my
Mississippi-
God,
Don't
it's
forget
going to
about
happen
Mississippi State,
again.
who came within 1 win of making the football playoff.
Next year is going to be the death of everyone in the SEC
If you
West.
thought this year was the Hunger Games,
Oh my God, next year's going to be like Mockingjay, I guess.
Catching Fire.
I don't know what they're
It's fine.
called.
It's fine.
I
Don't
don't watch them. Don't fact check it all.
Coming this Tuesday, December 30th, the first bowl game between two ranked teams in Charlotte, North Carolina. at
All this
Bank of America
time and we
Stadium.
finally get the two ranked teams.
Yep,
Oh my God, there are too many ball games.
there's too many. Georgia versus Louisville.
Georgia, the last time we'll get to see Todd Gurley potentially standing on the sidelines for Georgia.
Chubby
I'm
Nate
definitely
Chubb. God, I love Nate Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
But Nate's probably his younger brother, so
Yeah.
he might be able to play too. We'll have to see in the future.
I like Nick Chubb. Chubby Chubb.
Mason Hudson going to be making, I guess, his last start for Georgia. He's been a good, solid, 1 year
He's
senior
been what we would
quarterback.
call in England a caretaker.
He has been a caretaker. He's done a pretty daggone good job for the Dogs. I believe the Dogs go out with a victory and then welcome the Bryce Ramsey era.
It's going to be fun. You have turned me, Todd Gurley, you have turned me into a Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Glory, glory, Georgia Bulldogs.
Now, if we can just work on getting John Harbaugh. What? What?
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim?
John coaches the Ravens.
I'll take John, too.
I would too, but he's not leaving. He's one of
You don't know that.
I do know that.
If they don't make the playoffs this year with a $100 million quarterback, you don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Okay.
let's-
Georgia can get the college football playoff with a $100 million running back.
Speaking of Jim Harbaugh and his former team in the Foster Farms Bowl in Santa Clara, California, where he's currently coaching football for now. It is Maryland versus Stanford.
Stanford. Even though Maryland will enjoy a nice trip out west because anything is better than being in Maryland.
Yep. Sorry, guys. But I am going to take Stanford, too. I think Stanford, bit of a down year relative to where they've been the last couple of years where they were basically going to the Rose Bowl every other year. David Shaw's still doing good
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd like to see him get a bowl game in Baltimore. You got M&T Stadium right there.
That's true.
I've already got the name, the Omar's Coming Bowl. Omar's
The
Coming,
Wire
yeah.
Bowl.
The Wire Bowl. Oh! I would so be down. I would go to that just because I should.
Yeah.
That's right. The MVP of every team gets their own abandoned house that they can board up.
And it's where every time somebody makes a pass, you can't miss.
Can't miss. I think that's what happens. The winning team, you receive some prime West Baltimore real estate.
Is there such a thing?
Sure.
Sorry, fans in Maryland of the podcast. We love you.
They agree though, so it's not funny.
Now we're starting to get
That'd be
more
fun.
and more matches between ranked teams. Let's go to Atlanta, Georgia on Wednesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Ole Miss versus Texas Christian.
Should have been East Carolina's bowl. Should have been East Carolina's.
Why?
Because if they had won out and got it and come out of the group of five, that's probably where East Carolina went it up was at the Peach Bowl.
Okay, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Boise will get a Boise, but
They would
out
have
west,
taken them over these two teams.
Well, probably with it being an Eastern team coming out of there, would have been a good.
Well, I
hit.
think we would have had to look at the order because there's actually an order of selection.
Yeah, but that was
So you
kind
still
of
might have ended up in the Fiesta Bowl.
well, but that was kind of the thing all year was East Carolina, Atlanta because you would have been
All
a
year.
massive fan base
All
heading down there.
year up to the Temple game.
Yeah, good times. That's
Anyway,
it.
This is Ole Miss versus TCU.
I'm so excited about that football game. The one thing that'll make it better is if Laquan Treadwell was healthy for Ole Miss.
Poor guy.
Behind Amari Cooper, I believe Treadwell is the best wide receiver in America.
Shame the way he went down at the end of that Auburn game.
Oh, shame he didn't hold on to the football, but whatever. I'm loving that game. I hate to say I've got to pick TCU to win it, but man, I will be pulling very hard that night for Ole Miss to get a W.
I think TCU, Gary Patterson has them come out like a house of fire. I think
believe so.
They're going to be very upset being snubbed. I think they're going to come out and win. Also on New Year's Eve, the Vizio Fiesta Bowl, Boise State versus Arizona.
Arizona going to be playing at home. Well, basically at home. They'll be playing in Phoenix for this ball game. Boise, this is the site of their greatest ever triumph, the one that put them in the national spotlight when they beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl.
Oklahoma Clemson.
In Oklahoma.
Actually, technically Boise State Clemson, and then Oklahoma re-Clemson.
And then Oklahoma out-Clemson them.
Yeah.
That was it. But the side of their best one. I think it's going to be a good football game. Arizona, I don't know why they would come out flat.
They could after that Oregon loss.
Yeah, but you never know. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to take Boise.
All right.
And what should be a very entertaining football game.
I think I'm actually going to take Boise too.
Okay.
I think it's going to be fun. I think that one could also come down to the wire. Also, on New Year's Eve, the Capital One Orange Bowl from Sun Life Stadium, Mississippi State versus Georgia Tech.
Mississippi State's going to take care of Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, they love to run the football. And what is the strength of Mississippi State? They may have the best front seven in America. I think
Plus,
Mississippi State's going to take care of
the
Georgia Tech.
triple option, easier to defend for when you have what's almost going to be close to a month for them to prep for that. So I'm going to take Mississippi State too.
I think it'll still be a good football game. Mississippi State probably by 2 touchdowns.
Even though these games are all going to be taking place after we've done our next podcast, let's go ahead and talk about them. Yeah. The Outback Bowl in Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, Auburn versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin, of course, with Barry Alvarez again having to come in.
Alvarez in relief. He has just passed Jesse Orozco as the oldest reliever ever. Oh, God. If Auburn has gotten themselves healthy by then, Auburn should totally outclass Wisconsin. Also, I want to know how some of those Wisconsin kids feel about another coach kind of rolling out on them.
True.
That's tough. That's tough, man. I'm going to take Auburn.
I'll take Auburn, too, for those reasons. That's the way they came out in the Big Ten title game, having your coach leave, I don't see it happening. New Year's Day, Goodyear Cotton Bowl. An expert analysis Cotton. Michigan State versus Baylor. Another team left on the doorstep.
As far as Big Ten team goes, I think teams go. We are as close to anything Michigan State fans. We like Michigan State. Yeah, you guys are walking into a buzzsaw because you're going to get a really ticked off Baylor team that is playing in Texas, and they're going to drop a lot of points.
Yeah, I think Baylor's going to really handle them. We saw that Michigan State against Oregon earlier this year, and this is a similar thing. I think that's going to happen. I think Michigan State can keep this close for a while. I think Baylor pulls away late.
I think you might have a good halftime score, and then Baylor just blitzes them in the second half.
Sorry, Kelsey.
Sorry, Sparty.
Buffalo Wild Wings, Citrus Bowl, back it down in Orlando. Minnesota versus Missouri, a team the committee deemed in Minnesota was not good enough for Texas Christians. Non-conference schedule.
In a game I will probably not watch a tick of time on. I'm just saying Missouri being the SEC team.
Sure. The Rose Bowl game on January 1st. That's the appetizer. Minnesota, Missouri is the appetizer, along with Michigan State, Baylor actually, along with Auburn, Wisconsin actually as well. Oregon versus Florida State.
So here we go.
Here we go.
The rubber meets the road, semifinals. Yep. Folks, I'm pretty daggone stoked about a college football playoff. Do I agree with everybody who's in it? No.
I can't wait till it's 8 teams.
Nope. I'm not going to agree with everybody who's in it, but I love that it's happening. We are on our way to 8 teams when it's going to be the most horrific thing of all time. Oregon, Florida State. So what do you get? Do you get an Oregon team who is kind of known to choke in the big situations? Or do you get a Florida State team that loves to choke for 3.5 quarters and then find a way to beat you? I just think the Seminoles survive one more time.
It kills me to say it. Ducks win.
Oh, I don't like doing this. This hurts. Fuller
Quack,
Weatherly,
quack.
brother, this is
Quack,
for you,
quack.
man. I
Quack,
think the
quack.
Noles are going to get it done. I think the Noles find a way. Just when the Ducks think they're doing right, Jameis is going to steal the playbook or just something. It doesn't really matter. He won't get any trouble for it. Jameis Winston's last great ride at Florida State. Noles nip the Ducks. I'm going to call it 31-28 Noles.
I think current Heisman winner beats former Heisman winner. Mariota beats
I can't wait. I'm in love with watching that football game.
Well, you're going to love probably watching the next one as well.
Up until halftime when I cut it off and go to bed because it's over.
All-State Sugar Bowl. Alabama versus Ohio State, 8:30 New Year's Day. Roll Tide.
Bleeping Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll
Sorry,
Tide.
Dez.
Big.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, Des, you can cry all you want over there. 51-27 is going to be your final score, and those 27 are coming in junk time.
40-17.
Tide is laying it down. Amari Cooper, get ready, Buckeyes. You get to try to cover that. But in all honesty, I just think Alabama, they have been through the wars.
Yes.
And that's the thing. They've been through the wars.
They came out of a loss to Ole Miss. They came out of a scare
Same.
against Arkansas.
And
They're
they came back.
prepared.
I mean, look who they've beaten.
Yep.
That's the thing. Look who they've beaten. Ohio State, who have you beaten? Don't give me Wisconsin. Don't give me Minnesota. Don't give me Michigan State.
Yeah, I'll give you Michigan State.
But we just picked Michigan State to get blasted in their bowl game.
True.
So basically, Michigan State, every real test they had this year, they get blasted in.
Yeah.
So
Ohio State failed their fake test.
they did fail. They did fail, and also they are just remember they are on their third string quarterback. Emotion only takes you so far.
Yep. Let's go back to the unranked bowl games. January 2nd, Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Houston versus Pittsburgh in Fort Worth.
Pittsburgh looking for a new coach as Paul Chryst has gone to Wisconsin. I'm going to take Houston.
I'm going to take Houston too. The Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida at Everbank Field. There's a lot of games in Florida. Iowa versus Tennessee. Two great programs.
What's the name of this bowl again?
The Tax Slayer Bowl.
Tax Slayer Bowl. Okay. I'm gonna take Tennessee. I think Butch Jones has Tennessee moving in the right direction.
I think so too.
And this is going to be a big bowl season for him because just remember the big thing: those teams get a lot more practice time, and that's what he really needed was practice time with this group. I think Tennessee's going to show up and look pretty good.
Kirk Ferentz not really doing very good at Iowa. I think
He's
he's
got
on
him back in
hot
the bowl
seat.
game, but I mean, what else are you going to do at Iowa?
Bo Pelini did. He had him ranked. Wasn't enough. The Valero Alamo Bowl, back to ranked teams. The last one actually until the final. San Antonio on Friday. Kansas State versus UCLA. UCLA, a team you picked at the beginning of the year on this pod to make the college football playoff, wasn't totally
I
crazy.
forgot they UCLA'd all over themselves. You talk about Clemsoning. No, they prematurely blued
Yep.
themselves.
They still had a
at
chance
UCLA.
last week. If all they had to do was beat Stanford and then beat Oregon in the Pac-12 game, didn't beat Stanford.
Yeah, they blew it. I'm going to take them to win here, though.
I'm going to take Kansas State.
Cool.
I think Big 12, really good team.
Love it.
Uh,
And
from
now the game to end all games. Are we there
the
yet?
Ticket City Cactus Bowl in Tempe, Arizona.
Close.
Washington versus Oklahoma State.
Washington.
I think Oklahoma State, buoyed by that last win, gets a win. And I also expect after the game, their head coach to leave. I think Mike Gundy's gone after that game.
We won. I'm dipping. See, I want to see what's open at that point.
Yeah. I think he's gone after this game.
It's open.
Now, would you like to say it again?
Is he going to Michigan?
I hope so. That way Jim Harbaugh can come to Georgia.
The biggest bowl game of the entire bowl season. The Birmingham Bowl.
At Legion Field, since Birmingham isn't going to get football
that
anymore.
is the worst stadium in
East
America.
Carolina versus Florida.
And there's
Is
only one way
Muschamp
to go.
coaching this game?
No, Muschamp's
Okay.
already at Auburn.
Okay.
I mean, as of today, he's wearing an Auburn polo and recruiting for Auburn. He's
right.
done. They don't want Muschamp anywhere around. Folks, you know where I'm going here. Loyal and bold, the purple and the gold, because we are the Pirates of ECU. The Pirates go down there. Why do they win, Ed? Because they care.
Yeah, and Florida probably does.
And I'm just telling you the truth. That is the shoot of all shoots. East Carolina cares. The one thing Florida will have going for them, they will have some kids who are playing for
jobs.
their future.
Yeah.
To see what can happen. Now that's one they have not filled their vacancy yet. That'd be an interesting one. I've heard Gundy maybe a name on that. So, but I'm picking East Carolina.
I will too, for the only reason I think they're going to be more. GoDaddy Bowl, Sunday, January 4th in Mobile, Alabama, from Ladd Peebles Stadium. Toledo versus Arkansas State. We need to bring in Nick Petrovich.
I'm saying Toledo just for Petrovich's
Yeah,
sake.
me too.
Because apparently he went to a lot of their games this year.
And then we have 8 whole days off before the college football championship game in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World. Your final is Florida State, Alabama. My final then is Oregon versus Alabama. Give us a win.
Here's what happens. It looks at the end like the evil empire. Darth Vader and Jameis Winston himself are going to ride off into the sunset. But Amari Cooper is going to find that little crease down the middle of the field. Blake Sims drops it right into his hands. Cooper drives the defender in the end zone. Touchdown, win, ball game. Alabama 24-21.
Oh, the SEC radio show will be lighting up with calls.
Can't wait to see the Lane Kiffin show.
You know what? I really hope they. Did you see when they did the Paul Feinbaum thing live during the?
Yes, watch
I
part of it.
really hope they do that during the during every Alabama bowl game.
That'd be awesome.
That would be so great.
Pow!
Ow! All right.
What's your pick?
Oh, that's right. Alabama beats Oregon.
Okay.
I think 30-27.
Okay.
Alabama kicks a field goal at the end.
All right. Take a look at the time. Where are we heading next, my friend?
Let's take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
For the first time ever on the All New Sports Show, the podcast.
That's right.
And then we'll come
break?
back. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do
Okay.
So Raw.
I can't
For
wait.
those of you on the TV, you'll finally get to experience So Raw. We'll do the airing of grievances like we did last year.
Oh, totally.
And then we'll exchange gifts. And then we'll be done.
Fantastic. I love it.
So we'll be right back on the All New Sports Show and the All New Sports Show, the podcast.
Brought to you by Roger G. Channel Associates right here on WHIG TV.
And by Podbean.com on Podbean.com.
Good day, Eastern Carolina. It's Mike Keffer at Mike Keffer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on the 301 bypass between Rocky Mount and Wilson. I'm a truck driving man. The Great American Drive event is happening on all new Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram trucks. It's hunting season, no better time to trade up to a new Ram, whether you prefer gas-sipping 6-cylinder, Hemi, Eco Diesel, or heavy-duty Rocky Mount built Cummins diesel. Ram truck is the new dog on the hunt. Hunt one up in Rocky Mount at 855 by Keffer or online at mikekeffer.com.
And folks, we welcome you back here on the All New Sports Show, the TV side.
Yep, and on the All New Sports Show, the podcast,
That's
on
right.
the audio-only side.
Brought to you by Roger G. Taylor & Associates each and every week here on WHIG TV. Folks, we hope you're enjoying the 2014 Christmas. Spectacular.
It's very spectacular.
It's not spectacular, but it's okay. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's not as good as some things. But folks, we're here. We have given you our soccer talk. We've given you our college football talk. And now we're going to move on. Ed, take us to where we're going.
I told you we were going to do So Raw.
Exactly. You have to introduce me.
Let's real quick. What's coming up on the watch?
Oh, the watch.
Real Sons of Anarchy is done.
God.
If you didn't, go check out episode 13 of the podcast. You poor man.
So rough.
What are you watching?
We're coming to the Christmas break portion of American Horror Story Freak Show. It's been okay. It hasn't been anything to blow me away. It's not Asylum by any chance. It's not Coven by any means. But it's been pretty good. And of course, we are in the Christmas holiday season, which means we're not really getting very many new shows. Everybody kind of takes that Christmas hiatus so we can watch Frosty the Snowman 8,000 times, and of course, A Christmas Story
And
over and
Elf.
over and over and over. Shut up! My kids love Elf, by the way. They're big Elf fans.
I'll tell you what we got coming up.
Acha! Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, H.
right,
John
folks.
Benjamin's weird world of Spy, which unfortunately they're going to have to retire the name of their organization this year.
That's right. No more ISIS.
No more
because the terrorists had to steal the name.
Terrorists win.
Thanks
Are you
a lot,
happy?
jerks.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, totally. It's all Bama's fault. But yes, we are definitely looking forward to the January premiere of Archer. And that is our show on FX.
Yes.
X? I don't know what they're running on now. So my DVR is set to record it, so
I'll catch
we'll
on the
do
app.
just fine. You catch on the app, I'll catch on the DVR. But definitely looking forward to that.
Let's get so raw.
Well, real
Oh,
quick,
I'm sorry,
the Americans come back in
you watch the
January.
Americans? I
I'm
don't.
an Americans fan.
Okay.
I've got all of season 2 ready on DVR to watch.
Oh, good.
Solid show. Solid show. Once again, just waiting for the. I don't know what I'm waiting for anymore. Sons of Anarchy's gone. Yeah. I have nothing to look forward to ever again on TV
sorry.
other than one show, the longest running episodic television show in TV history.
As we get so raw.
As we get so raw, folks. And tell them what so raw is, the folks at home on the telly.
You so raw. If you haven't experienced it yet, you're in for a treat. Wes Bradshaw here, big WWE fan. He's going to bring us every week his take on what happened in either the pay-per-views on Sunday or the WWE Raw Monday night episodes. Like to keep us in on the storylines, keep us in on the narrative. We talked to you about soccer narrative earlier in the pod. Now we're talking to you about the So Raw. So Wes, what is going on So Raw?
Ed, I'm not going to tell you what's going on this week. I'm going to recap 2014 for you right here, right now on So Raw. We're going to start in January and go through every month of wrestling in between. I'm going to break down all the storylines. I'm going to tell you everyone. I'm going to tell you CM Punk left, where he's going, everything that happened in between. We'll talk a little Total Divas, a little NXT. Where do we begin? We begin January, the Royal Rumble. Folks, supposed to be the year of Daniel Bryan, but no Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble.
know.
Can you believe that?
Very sad.
But what happened in the Royal Rumble? The Shield. Fist in. Let me get your fist in. Shield. There we go. Now we... No, one fist, only 3 fists. The Shield took over the Royal Rumble. Your man, Roman Reigns,
I love Roman.
set the record for the most ever eliminations of the Royal Rumble. What happened at the end, Ed? Batista. Yeah, you know Batista.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. See, Ed already loves the sport, folks. Sport, sure. Ed loves it. Batista wins the Royal Rumble. CM Punk drug out of it by Kane, and Ed, that turned out to be the last time we ever saw CM Punk to this point in a
about him on the
WWE
podcast
ring.
minutes ago.
I mean, just blew our mind the next night, no CM Punk. So we go to Monday night, and things just get crazy from there.
10 minutes later.
So then WrestleMania ends with Daniel Bryan holding both championship belts as he waves his fist in the air. Yes! 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 And then, Ed, the next night on Raw,
46 minutes later.
and then June 2nd, 2014, the worst day of my wrestling life when Seth Rollins drilled Roman Reigns with a chair and broke up the Shield. I have not truly stopped crying on the inside since, as Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns all went their separate ways and the Shield was taken.
2 hours and 12 minutes later.
So then when we went to Greenville and didn't get our press passes, thanks a lot, WWE. Instead, Ed, I went inside, checked everything out, watched it myself from 6th row from the ring, caught both T-shirts from the Uso brothers. And Ed, up until this point, as TLC is coming up, which obviously has already happened for you folks at home, TLC coming up, it's going to be a crap pay-per-view, trust me. That is the year in WWE 2014, as that might be the most Raw that Ed Green has ever gotten.
Benoit! What?
No, he didn't come back this year.
I had a dream he did.
You're good to go now, right?
Yeah. Are you done?
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
God, what a So Raw.
Oh, thank you, Ed.
Very, very raw.
Thank you, Ed.
All right. Let's do our airing of grievances.
Who do we grieve about this year?
I'll tell you who I'm going to grieve about.
Go ahead.
Sepp Blatter. It is time for you to go. I am sick and tired of you besmirching the good name that is FIFA and ruining the sport that we love. Get out now. America, FBI, let's take him down. CIA, all those things you had in your torture report, if you want one last farewell tour, that's where it's time to go. Gestalt and Bern, Switzerland. Take him down. I'm tired of your corruption. I'm tired of your crap. Qatar never should have gotten the 2022 World Cup. USA, USA.
Speaking of crap and corruption, in sport, Roger Goodell, I'm looking at you, big guy. How can you let happen what has happened to this beloved piece of Americana, the National Football League, where you let rapists, the only time I can say it legally on here,
Yep.
Woman beaters, and freaking murderers, just straight up murderers. How can you let them play in your football league?
It's your fault.
I mean, you know, somewhere there has to be an example set for the rest of America. But all the example that you've given anyone, Roger Goodell, is don't worry about it. We'll take care of you because you run fast and jump high. This is filtering down throughout our society, into our colleges, into our high schools, into our middle schools, that if you have a special skill, we'll let you get away with anything. Why? The NFL does. Why do I have to worry?
It's true.
And for that, Roger Goodell, my grievances have been aired towards you, you bad man. You can go on the Bladder World Tour with him.
Grievances. Merry Festivus, everyone.
Happy Festivus.
You want to exchange gifts?
Of course I do.
All right, well, let's do Clint, the unofficial third member of the show. He got us some gifts.
Clint got us gifts.
Apparently, it does not matter which one he gets, so I will take the green one.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Moose mugs!
mugs.
Oh!
I love it.
I love it, folks. These are,
Tis
look
the
like
season
they're,
to be merry.
well, that's my name. Mary. Folks, these are the Moose mugs from Christmas Vacation. Cousin Eddie would be
Brilliant.
thrilled to be here right now.
So
Thank
lovely.
you, Clint.
Oh, if only Chevy Chase were still alive.
If only Clint had survived the purge. And Ed,
Yeah, we have gifts.
we have gifts for each other.
All right.
As always, I took a lot of time
Yes,
wrapping
you did.
mine.
Very exciting. Ooh, got a nice weight to it, a nice girth.
We love girth.
We do.
Still a podcast.
That's why we get so raw. Oh. Oh. I am Zlatan.
I am Zlatan.
What a man.
Ed will be reading
we're just-
from what right here says, the most compelling autobiography ever to appear under a footballer's name. My story on and off the field. I am Zlatan.
Take that, Sir Alex Ferguson.
I'll hand that to you, my friend. In paperback.
As told to David Lagerkrantz.
This could be amazing.
Oh, there's oh my God, there's pictures.
Childhood Zlatan.
Oh, this is beautiful. Look at that man.
I would like to thank Books A Million for telling me that you did not have it in stock, and then I found it anyway.
He sleeps with a gun. That's just like you.
He's just like me, except he's Swedish.
Oh.
Swedish. Swedish.
Mwah. I love you, Zlatan.
Oh,
All right,
Zlatan.
now it's time for yours. I did not even wrap yours.
Oh, thank goodness. So suboptimal.
All right.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
Here we go.
No, I am. Ah! A Carling
Last time they won a
winners.
trophy.
The last time the Liverpudlians won a cup was the Carling Cup. King Kenny, I'm sure he's somewhere on there. Martin Skirtle, before he started exterminating other races in
In a
Europe.
happier time, Luis Suarez. Who is
And
he
I'm
on?
non-biting anyone. I believe that is Dirk Kuyt. That is Dirk Kuyt. Look at those chompers on top, Ed Green. There's a beardless Jose Enrique. Jamie Carragher. We're carrying Glenn Johnson, much as we
course.
still are. Carrying him because he's dead weight.
Of course.
My wife is going to hate this hanging in our bedroom. Good job, Ed.
Yes.
But it's going to happen
Oh.
right beside our wedding portrait.
Oh, I think that needs to come down.
Absolutely.
This is much more important.
It's Steven Gerrard. This is the Carling Cup. I don't even know who that is. And
Some guy.
another wonderful Christmas.
Yeah.
As we have come out now in back-to-back years, and last year, of course, each of us receiving the Ron Burgundy
Let me off
autobiography.
at the top. And the
it-
tradition continues.
The tradition continues with I am Zlatan and, of course, Carling Cup, because nothing spells success like Carling Cup, which we then fired our manager at the end of the year.
And of course, it's also no longer called the Carling Cup. It's now called the Capital One Cup.
It's not. And, of course, we actually tied and then won on penalties.
That's what that after the, I'm assuming the final penalty kick.
Andy Carroll!
Oh, it's so good. Oh, boy.
So,
It's been a fun
folks,
pod.
from our family to
Yeah.
yours, our family, of course, being me and Ed, and a wholly somewhat inappropriate relationship on the
Yes.
show.
Very good.
For producer Des at home,
Yeah.
for the third member of our cast, Clint Williams, who we don't allow to come on camera very often. He's
For a technical producer, one
he's
namely.
an ugly, ugly man.
he is.
Yes, he is. I'm Wes Bradshaw. He's Ed Green. Now, we will be back on the all-new sports show next week.
Next week,
And I believe it will be myself and Clint.
Yes.
As
See,
long
you
as
and how that you just talk bad about him after you got to see his very nice mugs.
So I'm bringing my mug just for the show,
Oh.
by the way, for that. We still have our flags from last year.
Yes, we did.
So it's a big time for us here, folks. We hope everyone enjoys the holiday season. No drive and drink, as they call it in England. Don't drive while you drink.
No.
Don't have too many pints at the pub.
No.
And then think
If you
can
do,
just let on
take a
home.
cab.
If you do take a cab, don't drive, folks.
Don't take Uber either.
No, that's a bad idea. It's better to probably drive yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't promote that.
No.
Folks, this has been the All New Sports Show. Christmas,
Meh.
spectacular. 2014. Ed, put us over one more time.
Yeah,
before
sure.
we go home.
For the that was basically the show. Now let's finish off the podcast.
Absolutely.
You can always catch us at All New Sports Show is our collective. Our Twitters are at
Wes Bradshaw 21.
I am at Edward Green. You can get us on Facebook, facebook.com/allnewsportshow, instagram.com/allnewsportshow, youtube.com/theallnewsportshow. Email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Mail us your letters and parcels to 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. Of course, we want to give thanks to Podbean.com, Stitcher Radio, and the iTunes Music Store for hosting our podcast. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you to all our listeners out there. We wouldn't do this without you guys. We know we make fun of you. Thank you to B&H. I believe Cameroon, Senegal, other countries in Africa, England, big following as well.
Uganda.
Of course, Uganda. So thank you to everybody who listens to our podcast and puts up with us on a weekly basis.
That does it. We'll see you folks here next week on the All New Sports Show. You folks on the podcast world, we'll see you next week on the All New Sports Show,
The podcast.
the podcast.
We'll be doing it New Year's Eve night.
New Year's Eve night. That's right, because we don't have lives.
We don't.
All right, folks, we will see y'all next time. This has been the All New Sports Show on WHIG TV. Good night, Nigeria.
And the All New Sports Show, the podcast. Good night, everyone.